Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. The Metaverse Spectrum Business Conference and Expo, especially XR Digital, for inviting me here to speak about the HR onboarding of employees and the whole spectrum of how organizations can utilize the Metaverse experiences to engage with their employees better than before. I'm Rahul Sethi, and I have been working in the immersive tech space, creating experiences for brands all across India and outside of India for the last 5 years. Over the last 2 years or more, I have been involved in creating a lot of content on LinkedIn. And this is my LinkedIn profile. I'll be happy to connect with you for any specific things that you'd like to. The company I represent here, I'm the founder of Metaverse 911, and we are a research and advisory firm, mainly working with customers for creating adoption of this wonderful technology, whether with respect to their clients, internal stakeholders, and of course, creating gamified experiences, for their clients, more of engaging with the Gen Z, which is a very Gen Alpha thing nowadays. Today's topic is ramping up your employees onboarding in the metaverse. What exactly do we do here is something that we'll discuss very shortly. The vision of our organization is to have an unprecedented growth, be a part of that unprecedented growth in the innovation around immersive experiences, creating limitless opportunities for everyone who's involved with us, and hence here I'm highly privileged to be in this wonderful panel of speakers from all over the world, and I'm sure that not only what I'm sharing here will be making sense, but I'm sure that the audience who are essentially coming in to learn the overall ecosystem and knowing about what's really happening, you will be able to relate to many of things that I do with my peers across the industry. Some of our clients we work very closely with is immersive tech companies. My belief is that a lot of immersive experiences around the world never see the light of customers. Why? Because a lot of creative stuff that's been done for very specific clients, it's very hard for companies to continually go and speak about that. And hence, therefore, you will see that there would be some great experiences created, and yet you go talk to somebody outside, of the ecosystem or the industry per se, and mostly people won't know about it. So I work very closely with immersive tech and metaverse product or services companies, and give them the platform to engage with newer audiences and do a lot of things around LinkedIn lives and things like that, which I'll definitely cover. On the right-hand side of our business, we work with enterprises who are essentially looking to increase productivity, efficiency, and as far as the internal stakeholders is concerned, and how is it that they can implement this wonderful technology across the board. At the same time, a lot of our clients expect us to create use cases for them and for larger engagements of their customers and things like that. I have been highly engaged in creating content, like I said, in the last few years, and have done a number of lives. I think over 250,000 people have seen my work with respect to just the lives that I've done, and the most recent number, which has changed, is over 100,000+ people who have been attendees to the lives that we've done. And it's very amazing because it's an amazing feeling because it's very important. It's very important for I think our industry peers as well, people who are involved in it, to go talk about this. I've already covered much about myself, but very quickly, for 23 years in the tech space, I've had 2 successful exits, one from software services and one from a product company, 2018, where I was essentially working and building a procure-to-pay system. And and after that, starting 19 has been a wonderful period in my life. when I started with the augmented reality all the way to mixed reality. And then when there was times when metaverse wasn't really discussed much, and yet I was involved in understanding what is Decentraland doing, to what was spatial building, and so on and so forth. So I've seen this industry from very, very initial level to the meta hypes that got created, and the hype is now settling, which is great because at least we have got some people who are sure about it and that they want to discuss things rather than discuss or just come to us for learning. So hype has really helped this industry grow. Today, because I'm speaking about the internal use case, for within the organization, hence we'll like to keep it very, very structured. Why metaverse? Well, there are many, many reasons of why metaverse. However, one of the things that I've truly loved about this initiative is that it was not about just building a room or an environment where people can just play around and just be there within the confines of the four walls that you create. Having your experiences built on a specialized, if anything, a true metaverse platform gives you the ability, at least the visitors of the platform gives them the ability to choose the content and have a free will navigation. They're just not here to come and experience what you want them to experience, but they also have the liberty to go ahead and see something else as well, which has been built by your neighbor. The second part, of course, is about social connections. So there is also a flip side to it. However, if done correctly, there could be a lot of things that could be achieved, having people to experience gamified processes, starting from just general regular games to quizzes, and also creating learning paths for people that as gamified experiences could have a very, very big impact in terms of having people to connect to each other. There are ways to monetize in the metaverse. However, internally, if you ask me, these are all going to be rewards that you provide to your employees, and those employees feel good. So hence, for internal organizations, I don't think so that employee onboarding could probably have a revenue generation. However, like I said, rewarding people internally has a positive impact in terms of their motivation and things like that. Finally, well, there is definitely need to have more detailed analytics in the metaverse, and those are being built, whether you're building a standalone system or that you're going onto a platform, but you still can actually collect a lot of analytics, and I will cover some of them as we move forward. What is the metaverse for employees? So my background, for 15 years, I have worked very closely building staffing, recruitment, and contingent workforce management related systems. And the procure to pay that I built also had a very, very huge module of vendor management, where I was essentially managing close to about 18,000 vendors for our clients. So when the day one, when metaverse came into an understanding, in my head, the day I understood what metaverse is, from that day to today, I believe that employees onboarding is one of the best use cases in the metaverse. Why? Because from the time an employee is hired in the company, meaning that the day the offer letter is being issued to him, and from the day that offer letter is received, the employee has the liberty to actually have more offer letters too. And while companies expect people to come on a certain date to join, the joining ratio for organizations, at least in developing countries like India, where we have a huge IT demand, is not more than 50%. Now imagine for a recruitment team, if you were to go and offer 100 people and less than 50 people join in, imagine the price of that recruitment that company pays out for. And not only that, When people don't join on a certain date, it's not the loss of recruitment efforts. The loss is the billing that organization faces, meaning that the customer had to have 100 people on a certain date, and that the company, the employer, has the opportunity to start billing on that day one for the 100 people. But now suddenly less than 50 have come in, hence there is a direct hit on the bottom line. That's a bad news. That's a very bad news. So what do we do in order to ensure that we connect with our employees till the time they join the organization? And one of the things that we must do is to engage with them. How have we been engaging with them in the last 10 or 15 years? We're sending them messages, we're sending them emails, we're sending them some intranet links. That's all. We weren't doing anything more than that. We're not calling them for a coffee somewhere. I mean, that's also not possible, by the way. When you need to hire 5,000 people, you can't call people for a coffee. However, giving them something immersive where they have the liberty to go and talk to the AI and know more about the company only reestablishes that it's the right company for them to work with. So I'm here to discuss this very, very ridiculous problem of the joining ratio, and how with this wonderful technology and by engaging with the employees while they are in the notice period before they join in, how to engage with them. Now, the second part is the bigger problem waiting. The bigger problem is the employees have joined the organization. However, after a few months, they get bored. This is Gen Z. This is 21-year-old, 22 years old guy. He doesn't have that much of attention, that he has to give it to the company. I mean, he needs attention. And organizations, I think they're with the traditional processes, again engages with them on classroom training. There is a process that's been discussed, and that it's in chronology. You have to learn from 1, 2, 3 all the way to point 20. I mean, how boring is that for somebody who's young and somebody who's talented too, for just to go and hear someone for 5 days sitting in one room? That's very boring. That has to stop. That's not the right way to engage with employees when they come into the organization. You must have to think that employees can also create their own learning path. Not because I want them to learn in a chronology from 1 to 20, I can have them choose which part of the learning path they would like to join in and exit to join the other module, and have them continue to learn, but on their own pace. That's possible when you do it immersively. That's very possible. And I'll show you one of the examples of how that's been achieved. One of the other use cases of the metaverse is team meetings. And while there is always a sort of a discussion and debate of whether can we really do meetings in the metaverse, well, I am thinking from a perspective of Gen Z. What they want to do is they want to come to a meeting. They don't want to show up their faces, because even when you do nowadays, when you do your meetings on Zoom, not everybody is in a camera. So while a person comes into as an avatar format, one, he has the liberty to choose how he looks, number one. Number two, he has gotten some space to sit where he wants to sit. He can listen into what's going on. He can pitch in, share the screen, and he can also run videos like the way I'm doing it here. So while we're doing everything what we're doing today in Zoom and other things, it's taken years for us to come to this point. Believe me, it won't take us the similar number of years to move into the immersive way of doing meetings. It's just a matter of time. So I'm looking forward for companies who are very interested to building their team meetings experiences much more interactive and more productive, and then can do better than what they can do it on Zoom. While when you do the meetings, there is also a grand use case of the training. Now, what's training really in immersive? Training really in immersive, it has absolutely no leaps and bounds. the use cases, the actual real-time scenarios can be built in. And those real-time scenarios, what they can essentially bring in is fun getting trained. So I am looking at fun at the rate training. I'm not just looking at learning at the rate training. I'm looking at learning, but I'm wanting to have the person choose his own path and not I tell him which path he has to follow. That I want him to be engaged with me from an organization perspective, and then he can talk to the CEO of my company to know what's the plan of this company, because AI with the use of LLMs is being trained to answer like the CEO. And lastly, for your clients, whenever you build a nice, good product, if you're in a tangible industry, you don't want to go and show them on a camera or just a movie kind of format on a on a VLC player. What you can also do is you can put those 3D models inside your company's metaverse solution and have your clients come and engage with the content. So this way, not only that you're looking at just one single use case of just having people to come and get in just to do one thing. No, I believe it has to have a constant engagement. Secondly, one of the challenges that we have always faced with respect to the larger adoption of the metaverse in general is that is thought process, around executives. Sometimes I kind of get confused also while I speak to some very, very senior folks. When they say, hey, we've made a metaverse, now nobody comes. My take is when you make a metaverse, nobody comes, because if you make a Facebook page or a LinkedIn or Instagram page, but don't do nothing on it, no one even comes there. So you got to go through those things. So as soon as I think from an audience perspective, the folks who are here to learn about the metaverse, if you are really wanting to do something in the metaverse, I'll say build it, but spend more time on creating engagements in the metaverse. So what happens when you have employees onboarded in the metaverse? Now, these are numbers which may look subjective. However, in my personal understanding in speaking to executives or working with companies, I've realized that there is a decent amount of dissatisfaction when it comes to onboarding of employees all across the world. Please don't think that companies out there in America or the West do it any day better. No. It's the local flavor that matters, and it's not the global standards that one has to think of implementing it. You're hiring somebody, a human. You got to treat him like a human. You got to give him such a nice, good reception that he should never forget his day one. And that day one, if you give him the freedom to do what and how he wants to do it, that's where things change. People decide about leaving the company in a matter of just a few days. People never decide of leaving a company after 5 years. It's just a month or two, sometimes even 3 months. And and this is very natural. I don't think there's any bad in it. But you got to think that the Gen Z, the newer generation, that's coming, he just doesn't come to you and leaves a job. He actually gives you that negative reference to everybody in their network. So your recruiters have a hard time when they go and hire people again. That's another problem, isn't it? Let's move ahead and talk to you about the companies that I know have been doing some great work in the building employees metaverse. One more thing I'd like to clarify to you today is this term metaverse sometimes also it's also sometimes not really the metaverse really. Why I say that is unless and until you're thinking of an immersive experience, that's the core of your thinking process, like from a storyboarding perspective. I think metaverse is just a name, so the folks here who are thinking that, hey, we are looking at a metaverse big, no. Even if you create smaller experiences and host them on the right platform, you're still doing a good job. Okay. But yeah, the term metaverse, since we're here, we'll stick to that. What did these companies really do with their employees and create experience for them in a very, very immersive way? And I'll cover almost everything that I said to you with respect to the use cases just now. So let's play a couple of videos here and make it a bit more visual for you. All right, let's get started with that. Just to give you perspective, we chose Geometry XR, which is a XR product where you can create solutions immersively and deploy them on the platform without writing a single line of code. And yeah, this has been a very, very good help for us as far as the implementations are concerned. Here is what is a very, very basic example of what we did. And once this video finishes, I will also let you know how much time we took to build this experience. And this has got AI involved in it, which means all of these avatars are not 3D avatars, but LLM-based trained AI. We will also discuss after the video as to how much time I took to create them. So yeah, so starting this video, and after that, I will pick up the 2 pointers and start from there. Thank you.
Welcome to the Metaverse 911 Employee Onboarding Experience. In the Metaverse 911 Onboarding Experience, you will talk to your team, test your skills, get trained and collect your goodies. Now visit HR department on first floor to collect your ID card.
Hi, my name is Siddharth. I am a hiring manager at Metaverse 911. Now, let's get started with your onboarding adventure. If you're ready, let's head to the ice-breaking area where you can meet your team. Hi, I am Rahul Sethi, Metaverse expert and founder, Metaverse 911. Excited to have you on board.
Hi Rahul, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking.
How do you came up with the idea of this company?
The idea for Metaverse 911 was born from my passion for emerging technologies and the potential of the metaverse.
As we take a deeper dive into learning how to secure Metaverse, let's first start by splitting it. Yeah, so you saw this video, and I was talking to you about the time we spent on building this particular experience. It took us 3 days to do what we have done here, and it took us only about 5 hours, 300 minutes, 5 hours in creating the AI avatars, training the AI avatars for this particular experience. Now, which means that any company who wants to actually create a good, reasonable onboarding experience can do it within a week. That's all. And that's to start with. The second part is, what did we do with AI? Because when we say training an AI avatar, is it really a big job? Is it really a very, 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 very tedious, difficult thing to do? Absolutely not. Because I just uploaded my LinkedIn profile. And that's all I did, you know. And yeah, the system is so smart for it to tell me, for it to tell the new employees who are coming in about myself, about the company, and many other things. So yeah, folks who are looking at thinking of creating employees experience after this presentation, happy to connect with you. At the same time, do look at our website if you have any questions. After the session, I'll be happy to take the questions. And once again, thank you very much for the team here who has been highly committed and have had a lot of patience of putting together all of this content. I really appreciate them and congratulate them for this wonderful, successful event here. Let's move to the next example, where I will talk to you about how PayPal created a virtual headquarter. Same process, the sentiments aren't different. Same process, everything is same. All we're doing is different use cases of how you can create immersive experiences for your employee. So we'll play this video for you, and happy to take any comments or questions after the video.
Welcome to the virtual headquarters of PayPal, designed to engage employees. Using Gmetry, PayPal created an immersive metaverse experience that was designed to motivate its employees and set them up for success. The pavilion is the entry point to the metaverse and serves as a one-stop shop for all employee needs. It provides a wide range of resources and activities to help employees learn about the company and connect with their colleagues. The pavilion includes a variety of educational resources, such as training materials, e-courses, and webinars that help employees develop new skills and knowledge. Step into the House of Innovation and be greeted by a special message from the CEO. Emphasizing the company's core value of innovation, this message sets the tone for what lies ahead. Explore the showcase content, an awe-inspiring collection of innovation stories from various teams within PayPal. With over 16 hours of curated content, including videos, podcasts, and interactive presentations, employees are empowered to learn from their peers and stay updated on the latest trends and best practices in their fields. The Innovation Showcase is a tour of the company's Innovation Hub, featuring multiple vignette spaces that are demo environments showcasing the company's products and their capabilities. Each vignette includes a variety of interactive elements, such as videos, demonstrations, and hands-on activities, to help employees learn about the products in a fun and engaging way. Engage in vibrant discussions within the House of Innovation's dedicated discussion area. Here, employees gather to exchange ideas and insights while immersing themselves in an innovation playlist curated by visitors to the experience. This interactive forum nurtures a culture of continuous learning and collaboration. Unleash your competitive spirit at the Gaming Arcade, a place where learning becomes a thrilling adventure. The Gaming Arcade fosters a sense of community and connection among employees, making learning a fun and engaging experience. The PayPal Metaverse nurtures a culture of continuous learning, innovation, and collaboration, propelling PayPal to new heights. Transforming the future of work in the Metaverse with Gmetry XR. Visit www.gmetry.com.
So yeah, so PayPal, when thought of creating something in the metaverse, one of the things that they really were thinking about, somebody who comes into the headquarters of the PayPal and can interact with the management team. That's number one. Somebody who can actually do certain activities before he is allowed to the module 2, which is the environment 2, and hence there is certain activities that you've seen a user has to do, the employee have to do, to then go get into the second part. You see, the thing is, any organization, okay, has to always think from creating one minimalistic experiences. Never think of creating experiences which will be like a couple of 1,000 meters, property, and that you will spend like 5 years building it. And don't even think much about it. One of the problems, the agencies, in my view, that gets created when you speak to agencies, is they kind of sometimes complicate, experiences by saying, we'll create a digital twin of your company. And I somehow do not agree to that, because a digital twin has a certain applicability with respect to executing commands. in the plant with the use of IoT and other technologies. Digital twin can be used for maintenance purposes. Digital twin can be used for even doing simulations on the assembly. But I personally do not think that digital twin of a corporate headquarters makes any sense. So, and why is it that you would want to do that? So think of it as a near digital twin when you're creating experiences for your employees in the metaverse. Try not to do 100% replica, because one, it'll cost high, it'll be having a huge cost for you. Number two, it's just not necessary. What you should look at is creating something that resonates with your employees and it looks nice and cool, ultimately. And if it's near to what you have as a corporate headquarters, nothing like it. So let's move on to the next use case here. This is one of my favorite use cases. In this use case, Kotak Bank is one of the largest banks in India. I'll play this video for you, and then after this video, I will go ahead and share with you what they've achieved here in creating this experience. Wonderful, 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 wonderful work. This is my favorite. 35,000 people who said metaverses don't have people. Brandon Hall Award for this experience. And every week they do something or the other in the metaverse. What a brilliant, brilliant company this is. They work hard. They work very hard to engage with people. 35,000 people in tier 2 cities. Think of it in somebody in New Orleans, somebody in far side of South Africa, just imagine somebody in the tier 2 town in India where you don't have, we have a lot of bandwidth around 4G, but still, and what I found was that engagement rate on this platform, the learning path I was talking earlier about, the way they created the opportunity for people to choose what they want to learn, and I was referring to that when I got started working, talking to you. This is the pinnacle of innovation in my view. So it's actually many leaps ahead from when I started. So let's just quickly consolidate what I was talking to you, so you're not lost with what I'm coming up with here. Step number 1, we discussed that there is an AI intervention creating very small limited experiences in the metaverse. for your employees and giving them the liberty to know about the company, speak to the CEO, the founder in my case. The second part is about creating a headquarter, your own office building in the metaverse, and having your company, having your employees come into your virtual, world and come and experience things and do certainly know more about the company. The third one is engagement, creating learning in the metaverse. That's third, and the one that I've just covered. And and this sort of pretty much now I think you will resonate to the use cases I spoke on the slide one. All right, but I haven't finished yet. I still have got a few minutes. What I will show you is now that we, along with a company called Converse AI, had done a team meeting most recently. So I recorded this, and this is me in the black dress, the one on the dais. And I've got these people standing on the sofa, being sort of all happy guys. We couldn't do it like every day, but this was one of the events where what I realized was the people connected physically. They did connect virtually, but the impact of that was physically. How? Well, all of these folks are not sitting in one office. Number one, everybody is far off. Somebody is working remote, somebody worked from home, and some from the office. What happened after this was they started to talk to each other, and then they did certain activities here. We had a few games here that we created and have them go play those games. And once they played games, we gave them awards as NFTs, here. And this created this very nice interactive sort of relationship between them. And most recently, I think about a week, 10 days back, I have got another request for organizing the same team meeting again. So, people want to do something different. And I think we shouldn't just think of it from an executive and, leadership position. I think we also have to think it from what people want. And sometimes when you do a small change in your organization, you will see the impact go very, very far. We'll play this quick video for you. And after that, like I said, happy to pick up the questions. You can always go write your questions. Be prepared and look forward. Let's get started. Incredible. So you saw the magic, right? You see that people are very, very interested in knowing interested in knowing each other, but then they don't have time. So when you give them a 30 minutes, 45 minutes of this fun time in the metaverse, having them play games, having them go to what they want to do. But at the same time, I was having an opportunity to discuss with them as to what's going on in the company, show them the presentation, and yet have a conversation which was not very formal, thus hence creating an opportunity of connected world, connected teams. Okay, but there is also risks attached to it. It's not easy. It's not easy. You got to be very, very sure of what and how you would build experiences, because the challenge is that being avatars, people can always, utilize, log in with somebody else's avatars, put up the names of the people, and do certain things, certain activities, which are not aligned to the ethics of the company. So therefore, one has to be very careful when thinking of what platform you could design your metaverses. At the same time, data breaches are something that you've got to be very, very sure of, because if you're not collecting financial data, you're still doing some rewards. And so you got to be very, very sure that your rewards that you're offering to people, and that all of that information is in the secure servers and not just being, put to any sort of a weak authentication systems, or can be accessed, through any weak authentication systems. But I think the ones that I've worked with very closely are the ones where people have used SSOs, and single sign-on it sort of, really, really helps when you think of having very limited access being given to your employees only. At the same time, there are also platforms now, tools now, which can restrict movement of people from, going onto a different room or a different environment if they don't have the access and all that. Okay, so that's something which is definitely available now. I'll be happy to have a detailed conversation on that with anybody who is interested. But yeah, those are things. But yeah, when you're designing metaverses all by yourself, what you also have to think about is the lack of rights coding standards. Sometimes that can lead to leakages in your code base, and that is something which you got to be very, very sure about when you think of internally building the metaverses. Okay, but I've covered pretty much education and awareness, is very, very important. With respect to what I said, there are problems, but then also there's things that you have to do to make sure that those problems don't haunt you, user education is very, very important. Please create awareness amongst your organization. You do that all the time. Thinking from a cybersecurity perspective, you speak to your employees all the time. Tell them, make them aware of all of this stuff too. Regular audits by your team always helps. In essence, at the end of this session, what's in it for companies? If I were to give you my closing remarks in just a moment or two, I personally think that there is no way that you could think of creating a metaverse that will have replacement of physical connections or physical meetings. What you're really doing is you're accelerating human connection by implementation of newer, emerging, immersive experiences. Number two, are you saying that it will help or it may help? Well, my answer is it will help to those guys who said it will help, because you are now having people giving them certain change, and change is something that people love. So third point, the essence of actually having the good experience is good, but it's not good even if it's a great experience unless you don't create engagements in that experience, engagement for people. So folks, thank you very much for listening to me. I hope that this has been an interesting session. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer those questions right away. And for anything that you need more info, you can always reach out to the organizer team. This is my LinkedIn at the end. Once again, I'll be happy to connect with you on LinkedIn and have a conversation around meaningful use case of the metaverse going forward. Thank you very much.